Good morning, everyone. I'm going to do my Learning Centers presentation via this video. Again, I'm sorry for it being so late. This is about Learning Centers for adolescents ages 10 and over, and it's for our upper graders and the importance of Learning Centers and how it could benefit our classrooms. So just in case you guys do, get placed in the upper grades, 4th through 6th graders, here are some ideas for Learning Centers for those ages. So the first, if you wanted to follow along with me on the attachment or even here, you can see the first question: why are Learning Centers important for the upper grades? Do we really need those centers? Is this just something that's good for the younger kids, and then after a certain age we should expect those older kids to just sit and listen and not do much movement? Does that make any sense? The first reason in my research was that one thing I noticed was growth spurts. They cause adolescents to have a hard time sitting still and listening for long periods of time. So I could only imagine that is even greater, because this article that I got this information from was from 2005. So imagine 2016 and all the other distractions in the media and our cell phones, and imagine how hard it is for these older students who are going through growth spurts to pay attention in class, listening to the instructor, to us, talk and talk and talk, ask questions. What better way for the information to be comprehended and stick than Learning Centers? Another great reason to incorporate Learning Centers is positive social interaction. So another problem with our generation is there's hardly any social interaction, and usually if there is, it's not very good. Just being out and all the distractions, and the students that are wanting people to try drugs and all that, and talking about bad things or bad language. What better way to bring something good and something educational and fun that they can be encouraged and make new friends in class and get to know each other, and break those barriers, and even helping in the bullying problem we see a lot on the media. Another reason that it's important to incorporate Learning Centers for upper grades is that hard work and learning adds meaning and excitement to your units. So add some excitement to your TEKS, add some excitement to the books you're reading, incorporating some Learning Centers. So our next slide says another question we need to think about: how long will it take for students to learn the centers? So is it gonna, not even be worth doing centers because, it's gonna take too long? And behavior issues we've talked about in our class with Miss Vega, how are we gonna deal with these issues? Is that gonna throw everybody off? Are we, not gonna get, ready for our tests, our STAR tests? And there is a solution that I found online researching. Number one, you would take the first week or even 2 weeks, the first 2 weeks of the class, in August, to go over the directions and the rules to your centers. It doesn't have to really be in August. Whenever you decide to incorporate these centers, take that time, just a week, in practicing and modeling the center. That goes to my next answer here: model the centers. Have the whole class model each center. So, it doesn't have to be a boring you talking to them and telling them what to do, showing them your rules and saying, this is how it's going to be, here's the rules for each center. They can have time, and you could show them how to do a center and how to use the materials there and how to put them away. And then the class could have a chance, maybe one day everybody goes to the writing center and everybody has 20 minutes of writing, even you, and you guys all sit there and practice. And then you all sit back in your seats, and then you talk about, ask them questions like, what do you think this center's for? Like, how is it going to help us? And do some higher order thinking there and ask for their opinion about the center. And here is a little list you can look up on Pinterest if you wanted to, and on my reference page you can see the link to get this list. It would be really helpful even for the younger kids. Centers, procedures to teach. So look at this checklist, check off, if you've done all these things here. I'm just going to say one, like for example, how do we transition to the next center? How do we transition? Like what's going to be the transition? I've seen a lot of other teachers on blogs say they use music as a transition, or on their phone there's a certain sound, so then when that sound plays they know, okay, get up, let's move. Or when that sound, the bell rings, on your phone, they have 3 minutes to get cleaned up, and then after those 3 minutes another sound will ring and then they have to get up. So something simple like that. So let's go over just a few learning centers you can have. This is not all of them, but just like the basic learning centers. English Language Arts Learning Center. So you can have a center to help your students, and we're going to just focus on one TEK, just one really specific TEK for English Language Arts. And this is just like something very basic. Like you can have the TEKs that you're working on be reading comprehension of literary texts. So, literary text, you can talk about drama, poetry, nonfiction, sensory, language, theme, and genre. And you can have, just make sure those, each, I guess, drama and poetry, don't mix them all together. Take your time on the poetry, have that poetry learning center there for like a couple weeks. And then the next week have the nonfiction learning center materials there. Even if you need it for a month, maybe they need some more help in poetry, maybe they need more help in sensory language. So just make sure that you look at the TEK and see that everything in your learning center is after that TEK. So for the TEK that we're talking about, comprehension of literary text, you need to make sure always that they're understanding, making inferences, and drawing conclusions. So as long as everything you have there, they're able to practice those 3 basic things, then you're going to be good. So for example, just real quick, you could see you can do the writing and the drama centers that are, each center's going on, but they have something to do with one another. So maybe you're reading the same text in class and you could have the writing center write, something about the cultural differences and the characters, even the author of the text, and write about their life, write, how, if they were the author, what would they write and how would they change that? So you could just play around with that, and then the drama learning center can, do some scripts that the writing center writes for them, and they can act out, a scene in the book you're reading, or even act out the poetry. So let's go on to the next one. Okay, this is just some pictures of some learning centers that I found. Not really learning centers, but drama and like incorporating movement in your class so they don't have to sit still in that center. Okay, Math Learning Center for 5th grade. And again, I'm just giving you a TEK that really interests me, personal finance literacy. This would be awesome to teach. I didn't know we taught personal finance literacy. So just take a look at this. This could be very hands-on. Are our parents at home teaching about budgeting and about saving? Probably not. So this is a good opportunity, a good learning center to teach on budgeting and math, and you can have coins and manipulatives, and it could be a really fun center. And there's a lot of help online, like this personal finance, the little piggy bank there. It's a free resource from Teachers Pay Teachers. So, and also you can just build some money skills, like how much money would you need, what is this cost, how do we file our income taxes, and use a lot of calculators, and show them what a checkbook looks like. Just go into all that. So we're running out of time, so here's our final center, Science Learning Center. Please forgive me for going so fast. 5th grade, again, I love the 5th grade. I love the Science Learning Center. Could be so much fun. It's just what you put into it. So for TEK, I just went over the TEKs A and B in section 112.16, scientific investigation and reasoning. So on this TEK that I'm talking about in A and B, it's just talking about being familiar with the scientific tools, like knowing how to use safety goggles, hot plates, thermometer. And so you can also, contact Region 20 or your district to find some of those items, and then you could have journaling and talking about how do you use this. We can you can incorporate so much there in your learning center. And there's a laboratory equipment picture I'd like to probably have in my own science center to show like the pictures of the equipment. And then I love the periodic table, even though they're really young, to get them used to seeing that periodic table and playing with it and manipulating it, that as well. So in conclusion, there's some tips and tricks I won't share with you, but I know you would love to read them because I've run out of time. So take a chance to look at those tips and tricks, and just in case you do teach those upper grades. Blessings to you on that, and here are my references if you wanted to get those free resources and read this really good article on top. It's a free article online as well you can access. Okay guys, have a great break, 5-day break until class next week. Blessings, bye.